And here he comes, led to centre ring by his father, Rick Breese, Mel, Benny Caps, the whole crew down there at Shadow Boxer, Steve Addard, Ryan Breese. And this guy, he is one of the biggest middleweights I've ever seen. I know he had a boxing background, but he's an absolute giant. He looks every bit of the 76.2 kilos that he's come in at, or 76.4 rather.
He reminds me a bit of Zach Dunn, of course, who fights next week. Best of luck to Zach. Zach is in a domestic fight against Les Sherrington. That is for WBC regional bout.
Eight by 3 rounds, the catchweight, super middleweight, light heavyweight boxing. Winning one on the blue corner from Burnside Heights. He's boxed here before O'Brien through the show. 3 professional fights, 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss. 75.50 kilograms, black trunks, Mizet Power, Alabama boys. With you welcome Magic Mark Smith. And across the ring, Paul Watson, this young man has achieved a lot in 8 professional fights. Victorian super middleweight champion 4 times. WBC Asian Boxing Continental Super Middleweight. Coming up the big man over Jake Mitchell on a Peter Nayan show last year at Melbourne. He beats a summary perfect record. 8 fights, 8 wins, 9 losses, 3 by knockout. And the big contingent in the corner, including Rick Breese, Melissa Pavilion, Ben Breese, Steve Addard, Benny Caps, they're all there. And ladies and gentlemen, 76.40 kilograms, white and blue trunks, Shadow Boxer Special, Ryan Bullet Breese.
I'm expecting this to be an entertaining fight, Stevie.
Sam, you'd know Mark very well from the Boxing Victoria days. Now, I need you to answer me something.
Yes.
Was he a heavyweight?
He was. He represented Victoria in Perth a couple of years back as a heavyweight at 91 kilos. And we always said he's probably not a really full-grown heavyweight. But as you can see, he's in absolutely tip-top condition and a giant of a super middleweight. Two big men here.
He's come in at a kilo lighter than Ryan Breese. Ryan Breese tipped the scales at 76.4. Mark Smith at 75.4. So there's a good kilo in the difference there, but you'd wonder what Mark put on overnight.
Yeah, definitely, Steve. And you see, the height and the reach looks like it's going to go to Mark Smith, the orthodox fighter in black trunks, whereas the bigger, more fulfilled physique goes to Ryan Breese, the southpaw, in the white and navy trunks.
Ryan Breese looks like Ivan Drago from Rocky IV.
Doesn't he?
He's in great condition.
And always is, one of the best trainers going around, always in the gym, always fit, always ready to go, and was a promising young footballer before his career was cut down by injury and before he could be drafted. But always looks unbelievably fit, unbelievably strong. And I've seen him spar and fight a couple of times up close. And the power on his punches, guys, is unbelievable. And he throws them from awkward angles. And they're hard. That makes it hard to read. When someone goes by the book, it makes it a lot easier to defend against and see what's coming. But when they're a little bit unorthodox and they punch from funny angles and start with both hands, a lot harder to expect what's coming and react to it. They get into a clinch here.
Yeah, I had a chat with Alex Don from down in Mick Hargrave's gym in Boxing Fit Port Melbourne before this fight. Of course, Alex has sparred Ryan Breese before, and he's told me that Breese hits like a horse. He got an absolute killer blow on him, and Alex said no. Alex spars a lot of the big names around. He's been sparring Zach Dunn in preparation for his fight next week. So if anyone knows how hard Ryan Breese hits, Alex said no.
A little bit of a feeling out start here. Both boys seem a little bit tentative, a little bit tight. And there's always that cat and mouse game, isn't it, when an orthodox fighter takes on a southpaw, trying to get foot position right, trying to get your lead hand working, trying to get your counters in. And it always seems to start a little bit harder for both boys as opposed to two orthodox fighters.
Yeah, that's right. Smith to be looking to stay on the outside of that right foot of Ryan Breese. But Smith, to me, has the style here. He's got a nice style to box Breeze here, you know, and he seems to be very calm and relaxed under pressure so far. Hasn't been hit with anything clean just yet. That could all change, of course. But for me, you know, like Mark Smith has a style here that could cause Ryan Breeze some problems.
Yeah, very much so. And you can just see that Breeze trying to move to his left and open up that left hand and walk Mark Smith onto it as he lands a good right hook there. But Smith, a very, very good boxer. His record's 3-1-1, and it doesn't really show how good he is and how tough he is. Neither of these boys will back down from an exchange. They'll let their hands go at stages tonight, ladies and gentlemen. As you see there, Mark Smith versus Wildly. Hard to call, Stevie, but you know our motto. We don't sit on the fence here when we're judging on our unofficial cards. You've got to give a winner. Who do you give it to?
Well, we don't know. We'll give that one to Ryan Breeze, I think, just because he forced the fight a small bit more and he's had a small bit more success, but I'm liking what Mark Smith is doing. Okay, he's not rushing into the fight, he's not falling in on top of Ryan Breeze, but he's just taking that little step back, that kosher, and you know, he's throwing those counter punches. They're not landing just yet, but you know, he'll get his timing in. And if he does get his time in before Breeze does land something quick in, we could see a turnaround in this fight. But for me, just Ryan Breeze, just on that little bit of success.
Yeah, and look, this is set for 8 rounds, ladies and gentlemen, 8 threes. I believe Mark Smith has never boxed over this duration before. Ryan Breeze has been to 10 rounds a couple of times. So we'll see how it pans out through the later stages. But both boys very calm. Both look very, very fit, like they're ready to fight 24 minutes hard.
Yeah, well, Ryan Breeze has been in against some tough guys. You know, he has wins over Dan Smith. He's got wins over Eric Diamondstein. And they're two tough boys.
Yeah, good left hand there, lands from Breeze.
So Mark Smith will know that. He'll know there's no point in trying to mix it up here with Ryan. He'll just try and outbox him. Try and just upset the rhythm of Breeze.
And that's what you've got to do. You can't let a puncher set. You can't let them set their feet and time you coming in. You've got to keep them guessing.
I had a trainer back home who reckons you could beat any southpaw in the world if you just time that straight right to the body.
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea, you know. You see more in recent years, the mindset of fighting a southpaw has changed. A lot of trainers in the old days just wanted that double jab or that jab working, keeping off balance. But of course, Manny Pacquiao and other good southpaws have changed that game with their counter and lead left hands. So now, you know, I think a lot of trainers looking to right hand and left hook or that right hand left rip combination to set southpaws off and open them up. You can see Breeze here moving to his left predominantly, trying to set that left hand counter up. And when you throw that jab, you just saw there, Smith opens him up for that left hand counter, and that's what Breeze is looking for. That split second where he can shoot over, drop his weight on his left foot, and then come back and launch that big left hand. But Smith denying him that opportunity at this stage.
Yeah, Smith boxing very well from my point of view, Sam. He's really moving around the outside. He's not getting involved in anything too untoward. You know, he's doing the right thing here. He's just crowding. He's just crowding and smothering Breeze's work, not giving Breeze room to work on the inside. And it's Smith that come off the better of that exchange.
Yeah, Breeze landed a good one too, but Smith countered with a couple of lovely body shots. Misses with the jab, still very much feeling out phase. Good right hand there from Breeze, snuck through. Left hand just misses, but a right uppercut lands on the inside. Now they're starting to open up a little bit.
Yeah, they're both getting settled into the fight now, start testing the waters. Both of them will think they've seen what the other one has to offer.
Well, another good right hand there from Breeze. And that third shot seems to be catching Smith a couple of times this round, Stevie. That 1-2-3, 1-2 hook combination.
Breeze just seems to have the final say in the exchanges.
A bit of a wrestle in here. Both boys seem quite strong and content to push each other around and let a couple of good shots go. Breeze lands a right hook and a left rip right on the end of that exchange. Now Smith opens up with his back against the ropes, but Breeze lands a good left hand. Left hand just falls short right at the end of round 2 there. And the last minute showed what these two boys have got in mind. They're going to come here to fight and let their hands go and put on a show for these fans. So hopefully they can start stepping it up in the next few rounds.
Yeah, another cracking matchup from Jake Ellis, Sam.
How'd you see that? Those 3 minutes, Stevie?
Another very tight round again. You know, we could have swung that one either way. Tough. I think Ryan Breese was getting probably the last say in a lot of those exchanges. So once again, I'm just going to lean towards Ryan Breese in that one.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. And of course, Team Ellis, Jake, Sharon, Lester Junior, Lester Senior, Darcy and the boys. I'd like to send a massive shout out to all their sponsors who without your support this show wouldn't be possible. Platinum Earth, Civil Plenty Limited, Alpha Barbers, Cafco Services, Auto Rehab, Rebellious Boxing Australia, Bar 20, Lester Ellis and the Lester Ellis Fitness Academy. Without your support, guys, shows like this can't go ahead. So Team Ellis and all fight fans around Victoria and Australia really appreciate the generosity, and we hope it continues into the future. Round 3 coming up, this super middleweight fight, as Breeze lands a good right hand there.
And of course, while you're on that, a big shout out to everyone here that works and runs the Melbourne Pavilion, once again putting on a great show here.
Both boys just missed with wild shots there. Good right hand counter from Breeze on the way out. Good jab there. He's very loose, very calm, isn't he, Ryan? Very athletic. Got a lovely jab when he shoots it out.
Yeah, he's nice and cool under pressure, Ryan. He's seen a lot. You know, he's very, very confident young man. You know, and they've got big plans for him. It's a red hot division, and he'll feel like he's at the forefront of it.
Very much so. They get into a wrestle.
But this is a great matchup. This is nice. Styles make fights. And you know, the boxing fan in me is loving this.
Yeah, it's very tactical. Good left hand lands from Breeze there. He'll be looking to land more of those through the next few rounds as he works on the way out.
But once again, it's Breeze. Breeze just seems to have the final say. Without that little explosive burst to the body in round 2 from Mark Smith, that was about the only time Ryan Breeze has let him have the final say in an exchange.
Good lead right hook, and he works his way out in the clinches.
Once again, it's Breeze who's trying to find the angles. It's Breeze who's trying to find them punches on the inside. The referee just warns. I don't know what he's warned Breeze for. There's a hold in the head.
Hold in the back of the head and hitting there, Stevie, and then he warned Mark Smith for holding. So at least he was fair. At least he was diplomatic about it. But that's what I like to see. Both boys punching their way out of a clinch rather than just hold and cuddle.
I think Ignatius would prefer that too. I don't think he'd want to be getting involved.
No,
stuck in between these two
I'm not
giants.
sure he's going to tip the scales at 76.2. Ignatius. And good work on the inside here from Breeze. And I'm not sure why Ignatius got involved there. You've got to let that fight pan out. You know, you can talk to the fighters and the professionals. You don't have to get involved and stop and break at every opportunity. You can let that fight go. And Breeze was doing some good work. That just interrupts the rhythm of a fight for both guys. It's unnecessary.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there, Sam. Maybe just, I don't know, it's hard. It might be inexperience? Is it lack of communication on the rules?
Well,
or is it just misinterpretation of the rules?
I think it's a little bit of misinterpretation. You know, he's doing a good right hand from Breeze, and he's really starting to assert his authority in this third round. Landed a couple of good shots on Mark Smith.
Yeah, he stepped it up a gear, definitely in this round, Sam. And he seems to have a little double right hand going there, and he's landed it every time. And
good right hook over the top and a left hand, and they exchange towards the close of the round.
But once again, it's Ryan Breeze who's having their success in those exchanges, and Mark Smith needs to get back to getting the fight long. You know, whatever chance Mark Smith has, it's got to be long range, because once it gets into the inside, you're in Ryan Breeze territory there. That's where Ryan Breeze is comfortable. But the rounds are slipping away now from Mark. I have him 3 down after 3.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's been hurt at any stage, but he just seems to be a little bit more reluctant over the last round than a bit, Stevie. Not letting his hands go as much as he was, and seems to be standing a little bit more upright and tentative, maybe overthinking what's happening in this fight. You know, as opposed to the best fighters tend to let their instincts prevail. But
also, you have that relentless pressure from Ryan Breeze, which is going to wear anyone down eventually.
100%.
Unless you get on your toes and you got fast feet, fast hands, and get in and get out of there. But when you're going to stand there like Mark Smith has just started to do, That pressure is going to wear you down. And you're going to end up standing there a lot longer than you really want to.
Playing a dangerous game standing in front of Ryan Breese. Both boys clinch. Ryan still working on the inside, which is good to see. And a good flurry back from Mark Smith. And this is what we want, opening up on the inside. Breeze turns beautifully and really opened up that right hook with his footwork. Excellent work there.
And it's at the end of every flurry. It's Ryan Breese who comes off with the shots. Mark Smith either needs to get out of there quicker or even finish on the jab. Finish on the left hand. Let him get out that way. He seems to have the longer arms here, but he's not using them.
No, exactly right. Another good uppercut there from Ryan Breeze. And he's starting to hit his groove here. They both missed wild shots. That left hook landed on the arm from Smith. But you're exactly right, Stevie. And that's what the judges see, and that's what they appreciate, those finishing shots. The person who's finishing the exchange, coming out on top, you know, the more effective from the inside. That's what's going to win close rounds like this, ladies and gentlemen. And as far as I'm concerned, Ryan Breeze is starting to build a really comfortable lead and setting a nice pace for himself here. Good jab there from Breeze. And you see he's got his right hand down, but it's nice and sharp. As soon as it lands or touches, it comes straight back. And that's hard for a big guy for Mark Smith, like Mark Smith, to counter against. Breeze landed a beautiful right hook there.
That was a cracking peach of a right hook there.
Yeah, timed him beautifully as Mark Smith walked right onto it.
He walked on it, but he's walked away from it. He seems to have worn a bit very well, Mark Smith, but he doesn't want to be taking too many of them.
Got a good chin, and don't forget this guy's used to being hit by heavyweights. Beautiful head movement there from Ryan Breeze as he comes with that right uppercut.
Mark Smith just seems to be lacking the hand speed to keep the fight long, to keep it where he wants to.
Good left hand straight down the middle there from Ryan Breeze. And that's what Mark Smith's got to be wary of. He can't stand in front of him and he can't follow him over to his right. He lands a lead right hand there of his own, but he's got to follow it up.
Out and around and gets away clean. He needs to be doing that a bit more, but more often.
Exactly. He's shown it in bursts tonight, but not enough to win rounds. And not enough to upset Ryan Breeze. Another good left hand there from Breeze.
But look at Ryan Breeze. Look, he'll come in with a right hook, he'll come in with a lead hook, or he'll come in with a lead left. Then he'll sit on Mark Smith's chest, lean against him, push him off, bang, 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 go to work.
A couple of good body shots.
Just watch. He just sits and then lets fly.
And both boys exchange, and a good right hand landed there from Smith. But Breeze walks him back and keeps throwing. Left hand to the heart there by Breeze.
How gutsy is Mark Smith to keep coming forward.
Corner.
There's not many people who will take right uppercut, left hooks from Ryan Breeze and keep coming forward.
And walk forward, exactly. But that won't dishearten Breeze. That's what he likes. And that's the sign of a calm, experienced fighter. You know, he's letting Mark Smith walk onto his shots, and he knows if you're going to come, well, I've got something for you. Now, this is a good fight, and it's starting to heat up a little bit, Stevie. But as far as I see it, it's 4-0 to Ryan Breeze. And Mark Smith's got another 4 rounds to really change the tide of this fight and try and get it back in his favour. You know, another couple of rounds, and he's going to be looking at a stoppage win. Or he's going to need a stoppage win.
He will need a stoppage win. Whether you can get a stoppage win against Breeze, very difficult to say. But you know, Breeze just seems to be sitting on Smith, and then just that little shove, and then going to work.
Yeah, and he's just crafty on the inside, whereas Smith is sitting there that split second too long. Waiting, and then he tries to open up with big shots, hard shots. But Ryan Breeze has already done the good work by that stage. Good combination there from Breeze. Missed that last shot, but a couple got through early. Couple of shots fall short there from Breeze. They tie up. Breeze still just working with that free hand. Ignatius orders Mark Smith to keep his head up.
Ignatius be happy with how the last 2 rounds done, and not really having a lot to do. You know,
Breeze misses with a couple of big shots. But that's it. No referee really wants to get involved with a fight, whether it's protecting a fighter or calling, warning one on fouls. You know, the fans come here paid to watch the fighters.
Most referees don't.
But we won't name names.
No.
Another good exchange on the inside. Another good left hand there from Ryan Breese. Smith answers with a chopping right hand of his own.
He's wearing those punches well, Mark Smith.
Yeah, very much so.
Showing his toughness here, but, you know, the corner wouldn't want him to be showing his toughness. Get back to your boxing skills, Mark. Get on your toes, son. You got to hit and move.
Exactly. Just there, he's got to take that little step over. I understand why he's turning to his left, but you're still opening up and you're taking yourself out of position when you keep turning to your left with the southpaw. Now and again, you've got to bite the bullet and take that little step to the right. You know, you can't deny yourself access or room to punch by worrying about what they're doing, and that's what's happening in this fight. Ryan Breese setting him up and landing too many good punches that Smith's starting to adapt to what Ryan's doing. You've got to make your opponent adapt to what you're doing. Right hand lands, chopping right hand on the ribs of Breeze. Couple of good body shots, but again that sneaky right uppercut as they walk away from one another from Breeze. Good right hook lands there from Breeze as he falls into it. This round a little bit slower than the last two. Boys might be catching their wind.
Boys seem to be just having a round off here, both of them, but Breeze still pressing the fight a bit. Mark Smith going nowhere.
And again, that third one gets through. It wasn't hard, but it was glancing, and the judges see it and appreciate it. Good combination there from Smith as he backs Breeze up.
But when Smith throws more than 2 punches, he seems to be having success. But the problem is he only comes back with a jab or he comes back with a 1-2, and it's just not enough. But when he does throw that 1-2 left hook, or the left hook right cross after his shots, he seems to be having a small bit of success.
Another good exchange at the end of that round.
They're few and far in between for him to really cause damage and win a round.
Exactly right, although you probably could make a case for that round for Mark Smith. It was a lot closer than the last couple, and Ryan just seemed to be taking a bit of a breather. So that one could be closer if any
round was going to go, it would have been that round.
Exactly, as we come into round 6.
I don't think Rick Breeze is going to let Ryan have another round off somehow.
No, not at all. He's a very intense human being in the corner, Rick Breeze, and they've got a special bond, as any father and son does. But when you're training with your dad or training your son, that bond and that appreciation for one another increases tenfold. So they'll be urging him to close this fight out, not take any chances, and win these last 3 rounds and make sure he gets the decision and gets the win. But just as you said, just going back to what you said earlier, Stevie, with the 1 and 2 shots at a time, only a handful of fighters in the world can get away with that 1-2 shot pot-shotting sort of style, you know. Floyd Mayweather, guys like that who have exceptional timing, hand speed, and are at a world-class level can get away with it. As we see Breeze open up and land a good combination there. You know, guys in their 5th, 6th, 7th fight should be looking to throw 2, 3, 4 at a time and then coming back with 1 or 2 off a second attack. You can defend 1 or avoid 1. You can avoid 2. You can't avoid punches in bunches and combination punching. Oh, clash of heads there. Both boys missed with wild shots.
Exactly right, Sam. And, you know, it just comes down to earning your stripes, really, and being able to put these things together on you know, what looks good on TV doesn't necessarily make it look good here.
No, exactly right. And you see kids trying to hit the bags as hard as they can and tee off, and you only see that in promotional videos. That's not how the good guys train. That's not how they work, and then that's not how what they plan their games around, you know, or their fights around rather. So you got to get back to basic boxing, just like that, 2, 3, 4 at a time. And the last couple had a good left hand from Breeze. Smith walked in wildly, and he wore one for his efforts. Good left hand there from Breeze, and another one just lands.
Ryan's looking for it now. He's got to get back to just keeping it nice and tidy. It'll come.
Yeah, exactly right. Just keep working on the basics, letting your hands go, then take your breather. But a good round for Breeze so far, this one, Stevie.
Yeah, he's picking up where he left it at the 4th.
And just a couple of times this round, the heads have come together, and that comes from the feet. crossing and stepping and kicking one another. And
Fatigue.
both boys lunging in. Yeah, fatigue. Both boys lunging in. And I never quite get why guys who stand over 6 foot lunge in. Stand tall. Get leverage on your shots. Ignatius having a good close look there for any cuts. Thankfully there aren't. I never got that. You're 6'1". Stand up and shoot down on your punches. There's no need to lunge in and deny yourself room and take away all your power. You know, Ryan Breese, what he does well, even though he fell in there, he punches long. He extends his arms on his shots, and that's where your power lies.
That's it. Just get the range behind those shots.
You know, that jab, that's not really doing anything, but that's setting up that left hand just like that. And that's why he flick. When you're touching the glove, you know exactly where you are, and then you can let the rest of the punches go. Really smart work there from Ryan Breese for a kid who's only had 9 professional fights. And not a big amateur career either. Right hook just missed there from Breese. That one landed, even though it was glancing.
And that's probably the more surprising thing about Ryan Breese, that he hasn't actually had a long amateur career.
No, not
he
at all.
He had a big amateur career at all. And, you know, to see him plodding along, it's nice to see his progression. He's just progressing nicely here. You know, he's clearly ahead here. We got him ahead by a mile.
Look, and the one thing for me with Ryan Breese is that he's brought something new or different to every fight he's had. We know he can punch, we know he's athletic, we know he's fit, but at times he's shown a jab. Tonight he's showing a really, really good in-close game and an ability to work out of clinches. So he's improving, and that holds you in good stead. You can't just keep plotting along as a professional. You can't keep doing the same things. You've got to add, you know, different bows to your arrow, so to speak. So, no, Ryan Breese, I'm a big rap for this young man, and I know he hasn't put Mark Smith away tonight, or he hasn't looked like hurting Smith, but there's a lot of upside to this young man.
But not a terrible performance by Mark Smith.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I think he's boxing very well. Probably unfortunate he's come up against a very, very tough and durable Ryan Breese.
Yeah, and tough, tricky southpaw as Breese opens up while he pushes Smith back. But I just think it's a lack of what Smith's done as well. You know, and that may be from Breeze's awkwardness, but I think if Smith had have done more at certain stages through tonight, it would be a completely different fight and a lot closer.
Yeah, but I just don't think that Smith carried any heat in his shots to really deter Ryan Breese, and you know, I think a lot of the problem could lie there. I think if you're going to beat Ryan Breese, maybe box the same way Smith is boxing, but you got to have some zip in those shots.
Yeah, definitely, especially at this size, you've got to be able to hurt guys. You've got to be able to sting opponents. A good left hand there from Breese. Good work on the inside from both boys as they walk back towards Breeze's corner.
Breeze just seems happy to walk through Smith's shots.
Yeah, you know? Strong, pushing him back at will. And they open up again. A couple of good body shots from Smith.
I think, yeah, and Ignatius jumps in now.
Well, this is a tough, grueling fight. They'll both know that they've been in one when they wake up tomorrow, Stevie.
Yeah, they'll be a bit tender, all right, but...
Good body shots there from Smith.
From our scorecard, from the time in, it looks like Mark Smith will be the only one massaging the ego.
Good right hand there, and that's what we spoke about earlier. That lead right hand to a southpaw. Follow it up with a left hook or another right hand. They exchange good shots again. And a good left hook there from Smith.
And Ryan Breese going a bit low at the head there. Both boys acknowledge it.
Yeah, good combination there. But Smith lands that jab on the way out. That's better work from Smith.
Not a terrible fight, Sam.
No, not at all. Not at all. Very tactical, very smart fight. Messy at times. A little bit of clinching, a little bit of wrestling. But a good fight, good competitive fight.
And just the test that Ryan Breese needs, I think, for the progression of his career. You know, the guys at Shadow, they'll keep him busy.
Good combination.
He'll be out again in a couple of months.
Another good right hand of the body, but Breese answers with the left hand of his own. And now they exchange in Smith's corner. And they're not holding back. They tie up now. That was a beautiful exchange from both boys.
And Smith giving back is just as much as he's given, and I did not think I'd see that. I always thought, you know, if Ryan Breese let fly and caught, that this fight could be over and done with, but Smith is really coming back with shots in his own, is surprising me tonight.
Good left hand on the way out there from Breese.
He's got
really
a great
good
chin on
exchange.
him.
Fantastic chin. He hasn't been locked at any stage. And he's still pressing the fight. That's better. Head movement, but you've got to come back. Good round. How did you see that one?
You know, once again, it's a Ryan Breese round. But, you know, he's not having everything on his own way. Mark Smith has given him enough of it. It's a tough fight.
Yeah, very competitive fight. You know, and the sort of fight that's going to hold you in good stead when you go forward and progress to longer fights, bigger fights. And a good night of boxing so far, Stevie. A little bit controversial, a little bit unexpected, but that's okay. That's what this sport's about.
We'll take that. Adds a bit of excitement.
Always.
In case you're just joining us, fight one, we had Nathan Donnelly versus River Daz. Daz won that fight, but KO in 3. Mark Kassab and Daniel Smith was stopped in round 2, with Kassab winning that one. Sylvia Sharper put her opponent away in the last. Sadie Shaheed was beaten surprisingly by Andy Wallace in the last round.
Well, good right hand there from Smith. The start of the last. And Breese answers with a couple of his own. And another good left hand from Breese as he pushes Smith back. Both boys exchange. Nothing really lands clean there. They tie up. Looking for a big finish here, Steve, from both boys.
Yeah, definitely from Mark Smith. I think he really needs to, you know, just to show, look, I wasn't here just to get bowled over.
Oh, good left hand there from Breeze again. Lovely work. Another left uppercut there from Ryan Breeze.
And Mark Smith just keeps coming forward. And you know what? No one would have expected that at the start of this fight. Great stuff from Mark Smith. He's shown great courage, great bravery.
A good right hook from Breeze.
But it's Breeze who's getting all the success.
Just more effective. Smith's aggression's a little bit too overzealous and it's allowing him to be caught. Just like that left hand. Breeze very good at giving himself room, able to step back and open up punches, open up angles, and he's landing them when he sees them. Good right hook there from Breeze as Smith walks into one. And another good left hand there from Breeze. He started this last round really strong. Smith pressing the pace, but Breeze landing the better shot so far, Stevie.
Oh, without a doubt, Sam. Yeah, Breeze has really, for me, stepped it up yet another gear in this last round just to cement his position in this fight. And Mark Smith, tough, keep coming forward, but as you said, with little or no success, little or no effect really, only to force Breeze into throwing those shots.
Yeah, good left hand there from Breeze again. Well, right hand from Smith, he answers, pushes Breeze back.
Is that Breeze going backwards?
Yeah, I'm not sure if that hurt him, but he definitely took a couple of steps for space there.
That's the first time we've seen Breeze rocked.
Yeah, let's see if Smith can capitalise on this with a minute to go in the last round. Couple of body shots just missed, and Breeze definitely backing up.
Breeze is backing up, and maybe he must have been rocked by that shot by Mark Smith.
Yeah, not sure if it's fatigue or
another shot.
Good right hand. This has got interesting all of a sudden this last round, Stevie. Half a minute left in the round.
Can Mark Smith push it?
Smith trying to pour it on. Breeze still wary and dangerous. They fall into one another, another head clash. Some good work there
Mark
from
Smith
Breeze.
doesn't have much left in the tank, but he's still swinging, he's still throwing, it's getting messy.
And he will to the final bout, and they open up and the ropes in the neutral corner. Breeze pushes him back. Couple of good shots from Smith, and Breeze answers. And a good close to this fight, Stevie.
Yeah,
really good close.
Good finish by Mark Smith. Fair play to him, you know. He gave it all he had. It wasn't really enough on the night. Ryan Breeze took it from me, but he definitely got rocked in that last round.
Yeah, very much so. And look, going into the last couple of rounds, it seemed that Brian was a little bit fatigued, probably more than usual. There could be various reasons for that. Look, I think Ryan's won it as well. Maybe a little bit closer than what we've had it on a couple of the cards. Who knows, we'll wait and see, but I definitely think Ryan's won this. But a great effort from Mark Smith, tough as nails and proud. And he was always going to fight till the final bell and really put Ryan Breeze under the pump.
6 rounds to 2 for me, Sammy, in favour of Ryan Breeze.
Yeah, look, I probably had it the same way, although I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of rounds were close, maybe the first. And I think I had the last go on a Mark Smith, just on that last little exchange.
Yeah.
Although Breese did start the round very well and landed good shots earlier over that first 90 seconds.
He did, but he looked like he got wobbled.
Yeah, exactly right. And you don't know, if you, especially if you're finishing the fight on the back foot, being pushed around the ring, you're not sure how the judges see it, but we'll wait and see, and we take you to Howard Lee at centre ring for the official announcement.
Ain't no one better than Howard.
By far the best ring announcer in this country, and has been for a long, long time. Boxing is his business, and business is good. And he's a credit, Howard. He's an absolute icon of the sport, and he's worked with our family for 35, 40 years. He's a gentleman and a scholar, and no one better in the sport of boxing, and still looking as dapper as ever.
I'd love to get my hands on one of those suits.
I'm not sure I'd have the courage to wear something like that, Stevie, but Howard's one of the few men who makes it work.
After 8 rounds of engrossing boxing once again, every fight's got something special tonight. We have a unanimous decision. Judges Andrew Campbell and Dean Zan both had 79-73. Final count out of the call, 80-72. The unanimous points winner, Red Corner. 9-9.
And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, a unanimous decision to Ryan Breese. Very similar to the way we saw it. A disappointed Mark Smith, but a few close rounds there. And then in the middle rounds, a couple of decisive for Ryan Breese. Just landing those better shots and a little bit more effective with his work rate and punches.
Yeah, you know, there was a lot of close exchanges, but it was Ryan Breese who was having the final say in the majority of those exchanges, as we were saying earlier. I give Mark Smith the 5th round, and I give him the last round just for Ryan Breese looking wobbled.
So Ryan Breese improves to 9-0 with a unanimous decision win over Mark Smith.
Could we see a Ryan Breese versus Mitch Clark down the line?
Possibly. Although after last night's proceedings, I'm not sure if Mitch Clark will stay at super middle as we listen to Rick Breese.
Yes, as we said earlier, guys, we believe what we were told is that Mitch Clark failed on the scales, but that is what we were told. We did not have that confirmed.